All right, so family, I'm having a discussion, a financially based discussion with a few of my friends just the other day. And you know how they say you should be careful about who you announce your plans to, right? I make the mistake of saying in this discussion to my friends, I plan on getting richer over the course of the next 4 years under the new administration that's going to come into Washington in January. And I'm having a discussion with these friends, and it's not a political discussion, but there are those there that totally disagree with what this new administration stands for and what they feel like this new administration is going to be doing and or not doing. So this video is not about the benefits or the pros and cons of the new administration that's coming in. Basically, what I was saying to my friends is it don't matter what the administration does or doesn't do. I know what I'm going to be focused on. And based on that, I know that I'm going to grow my wealth and become richer over the course of the next 4 years. A couple of people in the discussion was like, well, I don't know how you're going to do that because things are about to get really difficult. And they started talking about some of the plans that they believe the new administration plans on doing. And I basically cut them off. And I'm like, listen, I hear all that stuff and I know all that stuff. And I understand that there's going to be a lot of things that may go in my favor and may not go in my favor. But I personally feel that it's less about what's happening out there and more about what's happening with me. In other words, I know what I'm going to be doing in order to grow my wealth and become richer over the course of the next 4 years. And I know that it's going to help me do just that. And it don't matter what's going on with the new administration. Now, I know that there are you that are out there in the trucker world that are also very pessimistic about your chances of bettering yourself financially over the course of the next 4 years, mainly based on what you feel the new administration is going to be doing. So if you clicked on this video, it's likely you're one of those individuals that are pretty pessimistic about your chances of doing better financially over the course of the next 4 years because of the new administration and because you disagree with some things that the new administration stands for. So my plan is simple and my plan is guaranteed. I feel like when it comes to financial discussions, like things are either in your control or out of your control. And if you're doing what needs to be done, you stand a better chance of getting the outcome that you want to have. So my financial plan, my plan to become richer over the course of the next 4 years, which I'm saying is guaranteed, is pretty simple. I feel like anyone that follows this plan, because it's not really my plan, financial principles are timeless. Anybody that's doing what needs to be done is going to get the result. Anybody that's not doing what needs to be done is not going to get the result. And you can use any excuse that you want to not do what needs to get done. I can't do it. It's difficult. This new administration is going to make it hard. They don't have my best interest at heart. All of that may be true, but it's less about that, in my opinion, and more about what you do. And if you follow the steps, you're going to get the result. So the steps that I plan on following are very simple. And again, anyone that follows these steps, I feel like, can also grow their wealth and become richer over the course of the next 4 years under this new administration, regardless of what this new administration is doing. So step one is really simple that I'm going to be following and focusing on. First thing I'm going to be focusing on is getting myself out of debt. I did some figuring the other day, and I got a few bills that I'm about to be able to pay off. Close to about $1,200 worth of bills monthly that if I focus on it just a little bit more than I am right now, within the next 90 to 180 days at the most, I will have about $1,200 worth of monthly bills paid off, meaning that's money that can stay in my house. That's money that I don't have to pay out to bill collectors. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is getting myself out of unnecessary debt. If you're a person that doesn't know how to manage debt, it doesn't matter what the new administration does or doesn't do, you're going to have some financial problems. If you're waiting for the new administration to do some things that makes it easier for you to get rid of your debt, if he does that, fine. But if he don't, you got a problem. I say you need to focus on getting yourself out of debt in a way that doesn't matter what the new administration is doing. I hate to keep saying that, but again, it's not about what's happening out there. It's about what you're doing. So I plan on, first and foremost, focusing on keeping $1,200 a month in my household. That's the first plan. And if all I do is reallocate those funds to my savings account as opposed to my bill collector's savings account. Within the next 180 days, I can be saving, accumulating $1,200 per month, which after a year, that's $14,400. We'll just round it up to $15,000. So if I just focus on this, paying off these debts so that I'm not paying off bill collectors, I'm putting that same money into my savings, then now all of a sudden in the next 4 years, I can save $60,000 more than I did in the last 4 years, simply by focusing on keeping my bills down and keeping that money in my pocket, right? So some of you guys have, $500, $600, $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000. That's a lot of money going out every month, where if you could reverse that pattern and keep that money in your pocket, you can get ahead that much faster. That's the importance of managing your debt. I know it sounds simple, but if more people were focusing on that, managing their debt, then the average American wouldn't be in a situation where they don't have $500 without borrowing it to cover an emergency that comes up. Most people are not handling their debts in this fashion. So you hear Dave Ramsey or somebody like Dave Ramsey talk about stuff like the debt snowball or the debt avalanche, where you either focus on your debts that have the most interest, which is actually what I've done, or you focus on your debts that are the lowest. And you're not making more money. It doesn't require you to make more money. All you're doing is just focusing on, if you're going to do it with the lowest debt first, you focus on you paying all your money to pay off that lowest debt. And once you pay off that lowest debt, the debt that's the lowest amount, you roll that exact same amount of money. You don't have to make more. You roll that exact same amount of money into the next cheapest debt or the next lowest cost debt. And you roll all that money into that until you pay that one off, and you continue that until you work your way up to your biggest debt. Me, I did it a little bit different because I wanted to focus on saving interest. I wanted to focus on keeping that down. So I focused on the paying off the debts that have the highest interest rate, because I feel like that way saves you the most money. It'll take you more time to begin to pay off those debts, but you're going to save more money that way. So that is what I chose to do. And within the next 3 to 6 months, I'm going to have several of those. I'm going to have some debts paid off. I'm going to have my highest interest rate debt paid off, and probably about I'll have, again, just to keep it simple, about $1,200 worth of monthly debts paid off. And now this is money that I can keep in my pocket. So that's the first step. And I've already kind of mentioned what the second step is going to be, which is also very simple. Reallocate those funds from spending it and paying off debt to now you're saving it. Now, once I pay off debts, instead of focusing on buying something else or allowing myself to get back into debt or feeling like, hey, I got an extra $1,200 a month that I'm putting in my account. Now I can afford this. Now I can afford that. I'm going to take the same mindset. I've been struggling to pay off the debts for years now. I can continue to struggle to put that money into my savings account. It's the exact same money. I don't mind struggling to add to my savings account. Sometimes it gets tiring to struggle to pay off somebody else's bills. So that's step 2. I'm going to stay focused. Once I clear these debts off of my books, the next month, the same amount of money has to be paid. Me putting that money into savings is more of a priority in my mind than me making sure that bill is paid. And I'm definitely going to be the one that pays my bills. But most of us, when it comes to like, we treat other people's money a lot more seriously than we treat our own money. When the key is to treat your money more seriously than you do other people's money. So once you pay off those debts, once I pay off my debts, now that money is my money. And if it's been a priority all these years to pay my bills on time, it's going to be a super priority to make sure that the first of every single month, this $1,200 goes in the account before I see it. Take it off the top. It's still a bill. So treating myself like a bill. That's step 2. Pay off debts. 2, take that extra money, add to your savings account. Treat yourself like a bill. This is part 2 of what I plan on doing over the course of the next 4 years. It requires discipline. All right. Step 3 is going to be to build a skill. Now, I drive a truck. Okay. We all drive trucks. We all got a half a day to work. What are we doing with that other half a day? What are we doing with that other half a day? There's many of us in trucking that will complain about trucking, but I would say that the problem in some of our cases, especially financially, is not necessarily that we're not making enough in the truck. It's that we are too comfortable having one source of income. There are so many people out here that they still subscribe to that one source of income mentality. As long as you have one source of income only, you are a slave to that one source of income. And trucking is volatile. Trucking is up and down. Who wants to be a slave to something that's as volatile and up and down as trucking is right now? The only way to take yourself out of that position is to not be so reliant on that income. You can do that by spending the other half of your day that you're not in the truck, building a skill that will allow you to generate passive income. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different definitions of passive income. And for the purpose of this video, just to keep it simple, passive income is something that you can build or create or spend the time creating one time, but then the potential is there to get paid ongoing, forever, in perpetuity. A really simple example of this is YouTube videos or YouTube ad revenue or YouTube income. You spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. You make a video one time. And as long as that video is serving the needs of an audience, that video can continue to be seen and will continue to be shown into perpetuity. And as long as it's being shown, then the video can generate you money. Now, to some of you, that may not be a good example, but it proves my point. There are things that you can involve yourself in where you do the work one time and you get paid over and over and over and over and over again. So part 3 of this is to spend your time developing a skill that will allow you to be able to generate passive income. I'm not saying just spend your spare time running another business or spend your spare time just doing some other type of work. When you come home out of the truck in the evening, you want to go cut grass in the evening, or you want to go Uber, or you want to go do something like that. That's better than nothing. That is creating extra income to put into your savings column. But what this is really all about is over the years being able to earn more money with putting in less time. So again, we're all truckers. We all got half a day, and it's not that difficult to spend your time developing, keyword, developing a skill set, building a skill set that will allow you to be able to generate passive income. This passive income, as you grow it, because again, it's not like coming home in the evening and driving Uber. It's hard to grow Uber income without putting more time in. It's hard to grow your grass cutting business income without putting more time in. So the key is make sure you're spending your time developing a skill set where as you continue to get better, you're putting in either less time or the same time, but your income is actually growing. And that's absolutely what can happen if a person becomes good at creating YouTube videos, running a YouTube channel, creating digital products. Like, you can even do this through good old-fashioned network marketing. You can get out of your truck or get done in the truck every evening and spend 2 hours in the evening building your network marketing business. I'm not suggesting that you do this, but you absolutely could. It absolutely fits into the plan of what I'm talking about. And you spend 2 hours every evening building your network marketing opportunity. And after a year of doing that, you're still only putting 2 hours a day in, or 10 or 12 hours a week in, but your income is growing substantially. This becomes income that you can do what with? Add to your savings column. And, I've been talking about this concept of putting yourself in a position to be able to save 100% of your income. I did a video about this the other day. But like, you could do this same thing with your side income. So you can drive your truck, pay your bills with your trucking income, build your side income, and don't spend it. Just because you're making an extra $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month in your side business don't mean now you can afford to go buy a new car. It don't mean now you can go and afford to upgrade your lifestyle. This is money that I personally, you do what you want to do, but I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to be adding this money to my savings. So in addition to putting $1,200 extra per month in my savings account, this income that will come from me developing my side business, 100% of that will also get added to to my savings, to my savings account. This is how I plan to really accelerate my wealth growing process over the course of the next 4 years. And again, if you listen closely, none of this got nothing to do with the new administration. Ain't really not too much that can do or not do to stop me from executing my plan. And as long as I execute my plan, I know I'm going to get richer over the course of the next 4 years, regardless of what the incoming administration is doing. And again, to me, this is so simple and so timeless that any of you listening to the sound of my voice right now can do this exact same thing. So if you don't have a plan in place to get richer and to grow your wealth over the next 4 years, you need to listen to this video again. Okay. Once you finish listening to it, go back and listen to it again. Make sure you save it so you can keep yourself focused. When it's all said and done, after 4 years of making sure my debts are paying off and making sure I have the discipline to reallocate those same funds into my savings account, and in addition to building the skill set that's going to allow me to generate passive income, after 4 years of doing this, when it's all said and done, I'm going to have more money saved than I had the last 4 years. I'm going to have more income coming in. I know that's a weird way to say it, but I'm going to have more income than I did in the last 4 years, which is going to give me more financial freedom. It's going to make me less dependent on driving the truck. And also, when it's said and done, I will have a skill set that I can then use to continue to make money. That's the benefit in building the skill set. When it's all said and done, now you got a new way to make money. You can choose to build a skill that is not necessarily economic reliant. In other words, some things that you do are more subject to the whims of the environment, and some things that you can do and put your time into building are less subject to the whims of the environment and to the economy. So you could choose to build a skill that is less dependent on what's going on in the economy. And again, in the long run, when you do it this way, you're richer, you're wealthier, you have more income, you have more confidence, you're less fearful of your main source of income getting cut off. You know, I heard a saying a long time ago, a bird on a branch is not afraid that the branch is going to break, because why? He knows he could just fly away to another branch. When you got more than one source of income, you're less afraid of the one source of income going away, because you know that you're not necessarily dependent on that one source of income. If you don't have a financial plan to get wealthier, to get richer in the next 4 years, I just gave you one. If you do have one and it's a little different, which I don't see how it could be, because financial advice is financial advice. But if you do have one, if it's a little bit different than what I said in this video, leave it down in the comments. I love going through your comments, and I love the fact that my audience here in The Helpful Trucker, you guys here on this channel, my videos, I feel like, have some of the most helpful information on the internet, on YouTube, not just because of what I'm sharing in the video, but because of what you guys share in the comments. So I'm looking forward to seeing your comments.